So, finally, after the search for Mr. David Gandy, I found him. And guess where we are? Right on the beach behind me in Monaco. Of all places to find him. David Gandy. Finally.
Not a bad location, is it? It's,
tracking this man down has been a nightmare. You get about a bit, don't you? You're in demand, I think.
Well, I get about a bit, yes. There's a lot going on. And especially today, and Formula E and
yes.
Filming with a new car and stuff, so
don't talk about that yet. Not yet. We'll get to that in a minute.
Just trying to explain my appearance at the moment, which is
you look lovely. I
Thank you.
love the jacket, by the way. If you happen to lose it somewhere, I'll happily look after it for you. Let's just. I want to take you back to back in the beginning, before this all came about.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to me when you meet people who have made their business out of film, TV, music, in your case modelling, and then adding in bits like film and TV as well.
Yeah.
But when you were a child, I mean, was this something, when you were sitting at school in English lessons, think this is so boring, I wish I was, I was a big model out in the world,
No, I never aspired to the fashion industry or anything fashion whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, but kind of what I did aspire to was not sitting in an office. I knew that was never going to be my place in life. Never. So yeah, I was. It was always going to have to be diversity and different thing. I got a board and threshold of nothing, of a 3-year-old kind of thing. I just have to keep on doing stuff and having a goal, having a process. So when you finish one thing, I'm already on to the next two or three elements of it. So which I love. That's the one I love about it, not sticking to one thing. So yeah, when you say the fashion game has allowed me to do all the other kind of passionate projects, but the beauty of it is we'll kind of link all those brands in. And the world, as in with social, and you say now everything is a lot more kind of diverse. So everyone, no one is just in film anymore, or music, or fashion.
No,
it's absolutely. So there's a lot of the music guys and musicians have brands, have clothing brands. The actors are all models as well. They're absolutely, yeah. They've got albums. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you have to. You can't be what's it called? So you have to be a bit of chameleon now and just keep on changing and different hats on different days, kind of thing. And
what was your first job?
My first job. So when I was, it wasn't really a job. When I was 15, I worked at an animal sanctuary.
Really?
Mum used to drop me off to go and work there on the weekends, and then I delivered pizzas.
Okay.
That was in my little 1.1 Ford Fiesta, 1988 1.1 Ford Fiesta. So yeah, I always sort of say, but that was I've always preferred working. I don't. There's something you sort of say when you're from Essex. I'm from Essex. It's grafting. People say he's a grafter.
He's a grafter.
And I think that is something about from Essex. You graft, and so many successful people, not just in the public eye, but just successful people from Essex. There is, and as you say that, and usually they've come from nothing.
Yeah,
that's again. So they're basically grafters. It's a good word. Yeah, that's what we'll call the interview. The grafters.
The grafters.
And that's it. So that's really right. I've never expected anything from anyone. I've never borrowed a penny from anyone. I've never lied on anyone. Everything has sort of been, me, myself, and I.
That's really nice.
And and so I'm not relying on anyone. That's the thing. You then. Probably when you get so many projects, so it becomes too much because you're trying to do everything, and what kind of created now, and the brand and the business, and the businesses, the brands, the investments, and everything else. You have to then sort of delegate and have teams that you trust and becoming, of course. So
the bigger you get, the more people you have to rely on. But those
absolutely, but I am still that last kind of in many ways, yeah. Which again, is can be tricky at times, but I always put the buck with me, because I don't ever blame anyone else. Something goes wrong, it's my fault. Something goes right, I've done it well. So,
but there's a lot of people in your position that would actually blame people that work for them when things go wrong. But I don't think you're that type of guy. You just sort of ride with it.
No, I work closely with the team, so it's a big team effort. Yeah. It's never someone's individual decision.
Sure.
So it's a big time. I've had the same agency Select for 17 years now, and that surprises people as well. And that dynamic has changed, of course. And then you had to bring in PAs, PRs, management agencies, and then it gets too big and being big, and then you realise that you're losing some of that power and you're losing that dynamic element to your business. So you bring it all back down smaller again, and you kind of you start again. But things can get too big, and I never wanted something to go that big where you do lose that control to be able to just quickly move and change and be that sort of dynamic industry brand. And that's why we change all the time, and we can take opportunities. And it's literally, the answer is I never really wanted to answer to anyone. I think that's basically the answer. If you're asking me when I was sitting at school and all I knew was I'm not the best with, maybe authority is the word, or I'm very respectful and polite, but I think anyone in my family has. My dad was an entrepreneur built up, my cousins own their own business, my sister and her husband have their own businesses. We are all our own bosses.
In the family then, really.
Yeah, we're all just arrogant know-it-alls or something.
You mentioned a bit earlier, I presume it was your first car.
Yeah.
And you sort of took away another question from me without realising it, but we could talk about that. So your first car was?
It was a 10-year-old Ford Fiesta 1.1 gear. It had this gear on it was supposed to be like the top class, the gear.
Yes.
I still don't know what the gear brought to the show. Really, it had aftermarket. It really didn't. God knows what it was. It was aftermarket electric windows and.
I had electric windows.
Well, aftermarket ones.
Aftermarket,
so you have to press the button. You had to bang the door, and then they would slowly go down. So it was. But that was from. There was a funny story once where my mum and dad were keen travellers, so I'm very fortunate. Everyone thinks I've travelled from being in this game, but actually, mum and dad kind of educated my sister through travel. So we were in Borneo with orangutans and Amazon rainforest and Alaska and all these different things. And I continue doing that, and I think it's an incredible education. People would go, where are you going? There would be Portugal, I'd be somewhere else, and I was catching piranha in the Amazon rainforest. And you don't really appreciate it at the time. But then I met Sir David Attenborough a few months back, and there I was talking to him about catching piranha, about orangutans and gorillas and everything. You'd like to see the most incredible, but as you imagine, has this presence and just he must be one of the most loved and trusted men.
Definitely.
In the UK, in the world, basically, is absolutely he. So that was remarkable. It is, and so I was going back to that story, but you didn't always appreciate that when you were 16, 17, of what mum and dad were spending on holidays for you, and actually you didn't realise it was quite an education. 16, 17, you want a new car, new mobile phone, new whatever. So I said to my dad once, I said, "Dad's Ford Fiesta is ruining like my street cred, absolute ruining it," and he just laughed. And I said, "Well,
What colour was it? Sorry.
it was light blue."
Oh, okay.
Well, the colour wasn't too bad actually. That was about the only decent thing about it. And but I tell you what, that was.
I'm going to surprise you because right.
No, it was that car was. I know after I had it then went to someone else, and they took it to mechanic, and they went, "It's basically a death trap." So that was scrapped.
Very scary.
But I said to Dad at that time, I said, these holidays cost a lot of money. He said, "Yeah, they do, Darren." He said, "So maybe if I don't come on holiday, but I could have money for a new car." And my dad went, "No, you don't have to come on holiday, but you're not getting any money for a car. So you decide what you're going to do this summer." And I went, "I think I might go on holiday with you." He went, "Good decision." End of conversation. That was it. So I was taught very much from mum and dad to have that respect for money. You have to, you're not given anything. You have to graft. So back to grafting again. You have to graft for it.
You little grafter.
Yeah.
So you're obviously now in a position that you could buy at least a reasonable car for yourself.
Yes.
And you've recently taken delivery of a rather lovely car.
Yeah.
And it's not a brand new super sports car, is it? Well, it's a super sports car, but it's not a brand spanking new.
No, it's a nice.
Explain to me what you've got.
So I've got a few classics, and I've been working with Jaguar for since about 2009, 2010.
Right.
And then realised I didn't have a classic Jag. Raced them at the Mille, raced them around Goodwood. Never had one, and I've always thought the XK120 was, if not the most beautiful classic car ever. Definitely, I think of Jaguar. And so
The E-Type, maybe.
I'm going to say something quite controversial here, and I've never been a big fan of the E-Type.
No.
Yeah, and I know Enzo Ferrari said the most beautiful car in the world, but actually there's quite a few designers, when you say that to them, they say, we agree. And it's really, really strange.
I mean, the 120, don't get me wrong, is an absolute stunning car.
Yeah.
I'd be very, if someone said to me, you can either have that or that,
Yeah.
and in the right colour, either one, I'd be, oh, I don't.
Yeah.
But in your case, obviously, 120.
It was a 120.
Yeah.
It's you know, things like that are, they're completely heartfelt. I'm not saying, Chris, I can see the beauty in E-Type. It's not for me. It's just, you know, then the XK120 is so much more exclusive. You never see an XK120 really.
Very rare.
So so we work with Jaguar or JOR Classics.
Is that what they're called?
JOR Classics, yeah, and the special vehicles operations at Jag, and we've worked over 11 months, which is very, very quick. I mean, it's quick for a complete nut bolt renovation.
Sorry, when you bought this, was it real, like, barn find, or was it?
It was kind of found by the Classics team under a tree in California.
Oh my God.
So it was all the suspension was about everything. But it had the matching numbers, so matching chassis, good chassis, not much rust being in California, good engine, and that's what you need. Everything else is you put back into it and you change. But as long as those those basics of the Classic are good, which I learnt the hard way from other Classics of buying stuff, and then we found out it's not so good and had to replace so much more. And the team have just done an incredible job. So it was really a bespoke build from me working with them from day one.
Did you actually get your hands dirty?
No.
At least you're honest.
I'll be totally honest that I'll probably just about open the bonnet of the car. Probably will struggle with that. No, I enjoy driving them. I would love to have time to work on cars, and but no. Yeah, and obviously when you have a bunch of experts, you leave it to them.
Yeah.
And so we worked on it from real sort of passion. But what I loved with Classics, and again, learning the hard way of renovating classic cars, they can be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
They are very expensive things, but that expensive thing can turn into a very, very expensive build. These guys have made the process incredible. Just, I didn't hear for all my requests, I never heard like the word no once. No, you can't do that. You don't. It was just.
And they kept you informed all the way through.
All the way through. Just
Lovely.
Pictures, like literally through WhatsApp with all the team there, so you have that personal service. And so we've made it original, back to original, but just made it. Going back to 1954, there were things about ergonomics and everything that. It was more for everything was about style or racing.
Yeah.
So, delivering with them, to the point where, the dip beam to put the headlights on is another pedal on the left-hand side of the pedal box. It makes no sense. It's complicated. You have to take your foot off the clutch, but so little things like that we got rid of, and we put that on the centre. It's a D-type button now, and uprated the cooling system, uprated the oil, bespoke exhaust. Should be about. It was when they came about 160, 180 brake horsepower. Got 225 brake horsepower now.
And this is coming out of a car, how old?
It's from 1954, so a fair while. Yeah, a long. Yeah.
10 years before I was
Yeah.
born.
But there's the element of it is and people say, well, why with classic cars? There is a passion element to it, but it is keeping these cars on the road. People would think, aren't you lucky to have the car? Yes, I'm in a fortunate position. It's not an easy process to work with them, and it's a very expensive process to do it. And these cars, people have car collections and they put them away. They're investments. You never see them. My cars are for other people to enjoy. So it'll be, it's driven here. We're sharing it with everyone. Everyone's.
Oh, we should point that
out.
Guys, if you click up, sorry, let me get the right way around. Click up here now. There is an official Jaguar video of David driving his car. Watch it. It is stunning because I've been watching him filming it the last few days. So don't forget on that one.
Yeah, that's why these bags are under the eyes from
early
mornings of driving classic cars.
I have to move on a little bit.
Yeah, you go.
I know you've got limited time, and there's a few things I wanted to talk to you about. One thing I wanted to ask you, I know I did have a little chance to chat with you the other day, and you mentioned about cooking.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, where has been your most memorable meal? And was it something you cooked, or was it somewhere you went, or was it your mum or your dad, or?
Most memorable. It's a difficult one.
I like asking people this because it gives us an insight on the type of food you like.
Well, I'm going to sound a bit of a twit if I say it, but but after we caught piranha in the Amazon rainforest, and then we're fishing, you know, and we're with the Amazon people, they would take the piranha off, and it's substance, that's food for them.
Yeah.
So we actually sat there and ate my catch, ate the piranha, grilled in the Amazon rainforest. They're great for getting stuff between your teeth afterwards.
That's lovely. So your favourite?
So yeah, wasn't the best, but it's not always, you know, the Michelin star restaurants are the best. It's an occasion. It's where you are at those times.
And you mentioned it was another one of my questions coming up, how much you enjoyed racing in the Mille Miglia.
Yeah.
I don't want to elaborate too much on that because you have mentioned it, but you've done it twice now, haven't you?
Yeah. So the Mille Miglia, which is the 1,000-mile race, which was stopped in 1957, I believe, because it was stopped because of terrible accidents.
Okay.
And then it was restarted as a kind of time trial rally again. So I did it in 2013, 2014.
With 120, was it?
Both in 120s.
Is that where your passion came from for this car?
I think first of all it was the only car I fitted because I'm 6'3". There's only classic cars, and so that was the one that would for 1,000 miles in a classic car. It's just that race could not be put on anywhere else apart from Italy because of the passion for cars and the passion for racing. It's the most incredible.
Did the police stop you going over a certain speed? Did they keep you
No, no. There doesn't seem to be many rules.
Really?
In that race, yeah, it's madness, which is why we all love it, which is why people come from all over the world spending hundreds of thousands of pounds to entering their cars. It's just a lot of very passionate, not commercialised, is it? Classic car owners, all racing driving cars. It's just incredible.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll do it. That was basically why the car was built,
okay.
for me to do the XK120 in my car.
Brilliant.
So yes, we will do it again, but it's an expensive process, and it's 4 days. It's basically 3 days of 1,000 miles. It's intense. You know, it's not a lovely jaunt around Tuscany.
Yeah, driving,
yeah, I mean the guys who come with me for 10 minutes, buffeting in the car,
yeah.
And you think, and I said, right, we've done 5 miles now. Imagine doing 1,000, racing, time trials. Pissing it down with rain, anything, you just carry on. But
I've got to say, you did it with two of the most glamorous women in the world.
That's yeah. I mean, if you were going to do it, then do it with Yasmin Le Bon and Jodie. Yasmin's just, yeah, I've always thought one of the most beautiful ladies, one of the nicest ladies, big, car enthusiast. There was a time actually when on the first Mille where we were driving through Tuscany, we were following some incredible Ferrari Testarossas and Spiders, and the beautiful sunshine for the first day. Because we had 2 days of rain, and Yasmin was reading pace notes but just feeding Haribo to me whilst I was driving. And there was a time I thought, life, this is it. The life doesn't get much better. If someone topped me off now, that would be a very nice memory to finish it on.
It's really funny. Men always have that. If I died now, I'd be happy. And they always have those moments.
That was probably one of them.
Yeah.
And
I've had moments where it's been, I don't want to die now, and someone's almost.
Yeah, no one wants to die now.
Dying.
Right. But yeah. And it was very different then with Jodie, because Jodie is an incredible driver, but she's slightly.
But didn't you get run off the road with Yasmin?
Yeah, Yasmin by another competitor, and that's how dangerous. Because a lot of the time you're still on public roads,
yeah. And
we were coming out of Rome, and it was kind of with rush hour, and everyone's overtaking and trying to get to the next time trial. And someone pulled out, and then realised they couldn't overtake, pulled back in, and it was either going to hit us, or Yasmin went onto the grass a little bit to avoid a big accident, and we just had to go down a bit of a grassy bank, and that's where everything sort of goes in a bit of slow motion, because also my head sticks above an XK120's windscreen. You have no protection, there's no roll bars, so the thing that is going to stop the car from rolling is my nut, basically.
Yeah.
So but I've been in a few accidents, and you know when something's going to happen, so really I was getting into just trying to get my head down as low as I can. I just went, no, this one, we're going, and just went down, then we crashed. But
you were both fine, obviously.
Absolutely fine, and the competitive side, you don't even care about it. You're just like, where are the mechanics? Can we carry it? That is all you thought about. Can we carry on? Can we still race? And we nearly won that one with Jack.
You've got a race licence.
I do. I've got a race. I wouldn't. That doesn't say much. It's just so I can compete in a few things, but it doesn't mean I'm not the best track day driver. Track day drivers are very methodical.
What about this Formula E we're going to be watching?
Formula E, don't get me wrong, I'll absolutely admit, when Formula E came, I sort of went, I'm not. I couldn't see. I couldn't see the. Yeah, you couldn't see the pain. Exactly. If you're a petrol head and engines and everything else. But the thing with Formula E, it's great racing.
Yeah.
It's competitive because they're the same, almost like the same cars, the same batches. I don't think they thought that the top races would be coming like they are.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the trouble with some tracks is you having to travel miles out and traffic and getting there. Here, it's all based in city centres.
It's like the epitome of race.
Absolutely. So yeah, well, of course you have F1 here, but you don't have many F1s in the major cities, and that's where Formula E. So and there's a lot of passionate. What's lovely at the moment because it is becoming more commercialised, and it will do, and it is the future. But at the moment, it's a lot of very passionate motorheads and or petrol heads.
You're right, it is the future, and hopefully, it's just for a much better cause. It's for the planet.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is a huge cause.
Yeah.
And speaking of causes, what a lovely link there, Mr.
That's nice.
It was rather sweet. I'll give it to myself there. You recently teamed up with Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's 7 years ago now, 6-7 years ago. So I was the first ever ambassador for Battersea Dogs Home, which is over 100-year, 120-year, I'm quite sure now, a charity.
You're a big animal fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I've always been an animal fan. Hence, I worked in animal charities when I was 15.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't realise that.
No, but it's not
Wikipedia
something.
doesn't tell you.
No, I'm not sure people know that one. But there was always something in me that as soon as I could afford to do it, as soon as I was in the public eye enough to give back and to go and help the charities and support the charities. Not the bigger, the big charities. It was always about helping smaller charities. Battersea was at the time. Now, Battersea is ever increasing, and it's doing wonderfully. But there's other. Save the Children I work with, and another charity called Achievement for All, which helps underachieving children in schools. There's quite a few. There's about 5 or 6 I'm ambassador for, and then another 10 charities that I work closely with as well. So, which is nice.
I think just really rounding up, this lovely moment I've had with you here
Thank you,
in Monaco, everybody. Your plans for the future? I mean, it's difficult to ask someone what they're going to be doing in 5, maybe 6 years.
It is, it is.
Is there something you've got in your mind?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going. Like, I think it was easier before because there were so many things I wanted to achieve, and brands and M&S and all those different things that I still continue and have grown. So when those things grow, it's very difficult to then start. I mean, there are always goals. I think you always have to have a goal. If you're not working towards something, life is like, and business is a bit like a game of chess. Things change, and doors open, and there's things against you, and you have to make your manoeuvres around to almost get that checkmate to where you want to be. And but you have to have that goal. That you have to know what you want to achieve. So things are different now. We've had my first daughter. She's 5 months old. I'm sure we'll have more. And thank you. And so the world, the life of 90 odd flights a year and never being at home has to change. It has, and I don't want to do that anymore. I had a lovely time, and I loved that is my life. I found it very difficult to come away from not travelling as much. But
and you'll continue to model.
Yes, I mean the modelling side is now it is, but it's I don't really model anymore. No. I know that sounds a strange thing. I mean, a model works for a number of brands and. And does all the editorials, and I'm not that. I've got collaborations with so many different brands. So when I'm modelling, it's actually for my own stuff. That's. Do you get to a point where you kind of think, well, this has been very successful, but it's very successful for someone else, for another brand. So that's why I've doing all the collaborations and my own stuff now. So yes, it's the modelling side, but it's a strange thing to sort of say. I've never really enjoyed that much being in front of the camera. I've always enjoyed being behind it.
As that type of person, you're quite comfortable, you're quite confident.
I think that's something. There's a persona that you put on. You have to. You become this. And you do. There is a part of modelling and fashion cameras where you are conveying a story. There's an actor-esque character into the guy in the light blue, which kind of started all this, is a Mediterranean guy in a small pair of white swimming trunks on I'm not Mediterranean. I'm not Italian. I wouldn't wear a pair of budgie smugglers, but it's a character you play. They pay for the classic cars.
There's a comment there, guys. If you want to write in for any reason and ask what a budgie smugglers are, just give me a shout and I'll explain.
Yeah. Don't go to this video.
Don't, please. Don't. Yeah, don't. There's no video there this time. Trust me. Oh, can you imagine? Oh, God, no.
Try not to.
Thoughts, yeah. I've just had a great time. The last
Thank you, sir.
few
I'm
days.
glad
Hunting
you enjoyed
down
it.
And watching you in action and what you do. Mr. David Gandy, chess master, family man.
Thank you, sir.
International celebrity. You're a super guy.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
And,
Thank you.
Guys, don't forget, if you just do the usual, like, subscribe and comment, and keep those comments coming in. We love them. Thanks, lady.
Thanks, boss.
We'll catch up with you next week with something even more interesting. Well, that's not even possible, I don't think. I'm not allowed to say that. We're going to go racing this afternoon, and thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next week.